Hi everyone. Today we are going to have a breath workout part 2. So if you haven't checked out the first one, it is on our website, and I hope that you check that one out also. They can be related. They don't have to be related. You don't have to do the first one to do this one. Either way, I hope that both of these workshops will help you sing better, or at least get prepared to sing better. And I will meet you in sitting after you find a very comfortable room, and we'll get started. All right, so sometimes we sit singing and sometimes we stand singing. Obviously, when we perform, we're standing. But a lot of times when we are in a rehearsal, or if we're just sitting around the house or in the car, we sing to the radio, we like to sing. So this session will be working on both sitting and standing techniques for hopefully to help you sing better and get prepared to sing better. So the basic thing, the very first thing that you want to think about is the rib cage position. Has nothing to do with the shoulders. It has nothing to do with the belly. Where are your rib cage? Where is it? Sometimes we slouch. Sometimes we arch. We just don't know exactly where the rib cage position should be when we sing. Well, sometimes if you picture the ribs kind of squished, if we have poor posture, they can just kind of get closed up. And so these techniques will help you get alignment, get your rib cage open and a little stretched. So the first thing I want you to think about is the collarbone area. We usually don't think about this when we sing, but the chest is all the way up, the rib cage I should say, is all the way up to the collarbone and down to the bottom rib, all the way around the body. So there's a lot more than just when we think chest, we think it's right here. It's everywhere. It's at least half your torso. So the first thing you want to think about is when you look at your collarbone in the mirror, do you see a lot of indentations? Are you sitting there and you see a lot of divots in here? When you sing, you want to try to get rid of all those divots. You want to get everything nice and smooth all the way from shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to breast, and all the way from the sternum out without arching your back. So let's think about that a little bit. And this, putting your hands this way isn't as helpful as maybe putting your hand across so that you can feel the opening or the collapsing of where your chest is right now, where your rib cage placement is. So basically all I want you to do for the very first exercise is just to open up the shoulders while inhaling. And you just feel like you go from maybe 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock if this was a sideways clock. So you want to do it from here and breathe in. And just open up without raising the shoulders, without doing anything with the back. You just move the shoulders. Try that a couple times. So we start here, just so that you can feel it much better. Breathe in. And then stay there for a couple breaths. And if you're not quite there yet, just keep playing around with that. And keep that opening up. If you're not used to this, you might feel a little bit of your back muscles going, ooh, I'm waking up. I've never done this before. And maybe some of you have impeccable posture and you're thinking, all right, Wendy, this is boring. Can we move on? Well, this is just a check point for some of you, and for some of you, this is definitely a workout. That's the first step. The second step would be let's just see if we can stretch all sides of the rib cage. We'll start with the sides. We don't think about the sides much. So I want you to take one arm. I'm taking my right hand and I'm stretching it up, but not necessarily leaning over, but just stretch straight up, shoulders down. I can't stress that enough. You don't want to do this. Keep the shoulders nice and square. And then just take a couple breaths in that one side of the body that you're breathing into. And be very aware of opening up that side and take a couple breaths. Nice active fingers, nice active arms, shoulders down. Keep reminding yourself everything else should be nice and happy. And as you exhale this next time, try to get your arm down, but keep that side of the rib cage up. That might be a little bit more of a workout. Breathe in, leave it there, and breathe out. And then breathe in, and then breathe out. And then you can check yourself. Are your shoulders still at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock? Or have they started to close down again? So now you have two things you're multitasking. This and keeping that side ribs nice and up and alert. Let's do the other side. Breathing in. Again, if you're doing this, try to get the shoulder down. And take a couple breaths. Keep the opposite shoulder open. And exhale. Breathe in. And as you hold that side nice and stretched, try to exhale and keep that up. Keep this part open as well. We breathe in. We breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Maybe as you come down, your palms are open to help that open up, shoulders down. Check your back that you're not arching. You don't want to be arching. Just keep everything nice and straight. Now we'll do both. Make sure you're not doing this, but keep the shoulders down. And then keep the ribs up and exhale and open up the shoulders. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And relax. Isn't that nice to just let that go for a minute, especially if you're not used to that. But if you're going to be singing, that's the kind of position that your rib cage should be in as you sing. You don't ever want to be reaching your chin forward and collapsing the chest. You don't want to do that. You want to keep the rib cage nice and alert, open, grounded, but yet having a lot of life and a lot of vitality. So because your lungs are inside your rib cage. All right, so the last step there, I want you to just stretch the back and breathe into the back. Because you open up the back ribs. Take a couple breaths. Try not to crunch. Don't be looking up, but just kind of keep your head kind of down towards the ground and stretch from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. And then come back up and exhale. And we stretch forward again, and we stretch all those back ribs. Couple breaths here. Nice and alert feet. Kind of wiggle around, make sure you're not overdoing something. Just a gentle stretch. And then we do the front body, and we just bring the palms, and we might just go back a little farther than our body and kind of arch the back a little bit, come forward. So your belly is going to feel like it's a little more on top of the thighs, on top of the, and then exhale as you come back. Palms up. And you're just stretching the whole front from the collarbone all the way down to where the diaphragm muscle is. And you might feel your stomach expand here a little bit just to stretch everything in the front. And then one more. And then relax. All right, so we open up this. We open up the side. I'm just kind of reviewing. We open up the back, and we open up the front. And hopefully after that first sit-down session, you're going to feel like, okay, I'm a little more alert than I was when I first started. And that's good, because if you start to sing and your rib cage starts to fall and you start to lose ground here, that literally can be a career killer, because as soon as the breathing muscles and all those angles within the body get compromised, the throat starts to take over, and then all of a sudden it's not feeling as good when you're singing. So you want to at least start with posture and getting that rib cage up in a nice position to start. All right, grab some water and I'll meet you in standing, and we'll just do another segment standing up. All right, so now that we're standing and maybe you have to get ready for an hour concert. Obviously right now we're not singing because of this pandemic, but when we come back together and you have a long performance and you have to be on your feet, we can work from the ground up. First of all, make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes. Second of all, make sure your knees don't lock. You want to make sure that you never lock your knees, especially when you're standing for a long period of time. So you can always, if you have a long period of rest, kind of keep those knees buoyant. If you have a whole section when you're not singing or between numbers, whatever, just make sure your knees don't lock. Then the next thing is making sure that the pelvis area is just gently pulled in, just gently. You don't want to squeeze it in, but you don't want to let everything go either. You want to have everything just feel like it's just a slight support there. And the next thing is to make sure that you're not arching. You want to keep the hips under, so that helps with the knee bend a little bit, and pulling these muscles in the front nice and just gently in and up, and the back side just kind of grounding down. A lot of people call that a pelvic tilt. I just like to feel like the energy is moving and always a full body experience when you're standing. All right, and then the next thing is everything we did sitting today applies to standing. You want to keep the shoulders down. You want to keep the collarbone area open so there's no indentations. You want the rib cage to be nice and open and feeling like it's being pulled up slightly, and those shoulder blades back and down. Okay, so you might be wondering why I'm holding a book in my hand. Well, we're going to do a little bit of a breathing exercise here standing up, and you can put it right across the center of the ribs, which is, if this is the bottom and this is the top, then it's pretty much right there in the center, right on the breast line. And I want you to just feel like you have some nice grounding here, and you don't have to be just holding it gently and elbows down. You want to really keep the shoulders down, elbows out, and feel like it's a little bit of a pressure that you're putting there against the chest. All right, so when I want you to, when you breathe in, I want you to feel like you breathe that book forward, like this, and I'll do one hand. It's not up. You don't want to do this and bypass the book or the front of your rib cage altogether. But you just want to move it forward with your breath. And then relax. What happens when you relax? It kind of comes back in, everything relaxes. Well, when we sing, you want to breathe that forward, open up the shoulder, and then as you exhale, keep that nice and the same way as when you inhaled. You don't want it to go back down. So you're breathing yourself into this new position. Breathing in again and exhaling. Breathing in again and exhaling. Now, if you're doing this more right than wrong, you're going to feel the diaphragm muscle starting to wake up, because now the rib cage is saying, I'm going to just stay here so that frees the diaphragm to go down and up as it's supposed to. You might try this, breathing in, and then just do a little panting. Not this. You don't want to let that drop, because when you let that drop, the stomach comes out. And that's what you don't want. You want to just keep everything nice and gently pulled in. I can't stress that enough. It's not anything harsh. Enrico Caruso, a very famous tenor from the early 1900s, said to take a breath properly, the chest must be raised at the same moment the abdomen sinks in, which is the opposite of what I've been trained. It's this. Then your diaphragm comes down. You have the support from underneath it for it to bounce off of, when you start to sing, and this just never gets compromised. If you let this part go, the chest drops, it's kind of a train wreck. So here we go, breathing in, and pant. And as you're doing this, you're going to feel the chest, the pressure of the chest kind of feel up against the pressure that you're putting towards it. So it's pushing this way and you're pushing this way. And we do one more, keeping that collarbone area nice and open, breathing in, and we pant. It really helps to isolate the diaphragm for it to efficiently go up and down. You can't breathe into your diaphragm because it is a muscle, but air can move it. So just keep that in mind. I always thought growing up that you could breathe into your diaphragm or from your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is going to go down no matter what when you take a breath in. So anyway, this will help to isolate it and get it more efficient. It will also tell you if you're in control of your breathing. All right, so that's the first thing. Another thing that you might want to do, and you can keep the book, you can hold it up there as well, and I might grab it too. But we're going to do several breaths, and I want you to feel like when you exhale, I want you to really feel like this aggressively just pulls in. So that when you do that, you feel the whole rib cage just kind of go up a little bit. Now I'm doing this whole thing with my chest raised. If I just let it go, it's like this. But if I breathe in, letting the respiration muscles give you the posture, then you're there until the end of the song. Open up the chest, open up the collarbone area, shoulders down. And you can go faster. It's a workout. You got this. Last couple. See, if you cannot do that, then chances are when you're going to sing, this probably isn't set up very well. So this might be a really good first step to test yourself there. Okay, so just rest for a minute and kind of roll the shoulders. Because it will, if you're not used to it, it will get you about right in through here a little bit because you're not used to the nice, I guess none of us are really used to good posture anymore. If you look up the old 1950s movies, the Broadway musicals that they put on, that they first started out as movies, gosh, they all had such impeccable posture. So that's what we want. We want that. Now, another thing you might want to think about if the collarbone thing is weird or if it's not working for you, you can bring your arms up, taking your breath in, and as you exhale, do the cactus arms, and really open up. Keep the shoulders down. You don't want to do this, but keep the shoulders down. You don't want to have the elbows droop. You want to have them level with the shoulders. And notice where your shoulder blades are. You also don't want to bring them here. You want to bring them all right in line with the ears. And as you bring the arms down, do the shoulder blades stay in place. You should feel a little bit more inflated without even having to breathe. Here we go, breathing in. Goalpost arms. Take a couple breaths here. And as you bring your arms down, keep those shoulder blades right where they belong. And I got this from a physical therapist, actually, this exercise. So it's really a good way to see where you are with your posture and your shoulders and your chest and all that. I mean, all this sitting around, we all start to get bad posture. But if you don't have that alignment, it's very hard in a rehearsal or in a performance to bring about good health to the voice. We want to really have the integrity of being able to sing as best we know how. And this is a good start. So we have the sitting down, we have all of this alignment, and you might want to have one day where all you're thinking about is keeping the shoulders back. You might have another day where all you're thinking about is, where are my shoulder blades today? Are they there? And keep checking that. You might have one day where you're just going to be doing this and having the book there and doing. You can just break it up into little bits. All of this will help you with performance, with singing, and actually with speaking, and with your energy in general. It will also just help you with overall health. So I hope that this is helpful to you today, and maybe we'll have a part 3. Who knows, but you can tune in again, and I will see everybody soon. Have a great week. Bye.